Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
So I know you've all been wondering about my 2020 diet and exercise plan, and it's fairly simple to break down for you. I wake up, walk the 20 or so paces to my desk, I drink coffee until my eyelids remain open without the application of my fingers, spend the day slowly turning into a morph ball as I hunch over the keyboard quote unquote making content, I lurch 20 more paces to the living room and marathon Gossip Girl before it leaves Netflix for good while eating takeaway XOXO. You could say that this is a dream existence, and you would be right. It's certainly the sort of thing that's going to fast track us to the consumerist utopia of Wall-E, but you would also be right in saying that this might not be the most healthy use of my time, because the closest I've come to cardio is if I stay and watch the Deliveroo driver right away. But what have wrestlers been doing with their 2020? A year in which the usual grueling travel schedules can't dominate their time? Well, plenty of them have been using the extra hours and putting in the work, transforming their already top percentile physiques into statuesque figures of legend, because now everyone is all oiled up and shredded like modern day Maximus Decimus Meridiuses, or Meridiusi, or lady gladiators like Jet. Here are 10 of the most remarkable body transformations from 2020, with a special shout out to Becky Lynch, Sarah Logan and Renee Young for growing full-on humans this year. Congratulations. Okay, so it's not exactly like Miro was small, was it? But the difference between WWE's Rusev and AEW's Miro is pretty incredible. Even just down to the clothes, because he now dresses like he's put in the infinite money cheat on GTA Online. He's got Gucci up the wazoo. Title of his sex tape. When Rusev was released on April 15th, 2020, it appears he decided that in order to sign for AEW, he needed to get more ripped than a used raffle ticket. After all, AEW does stand for abs, external obliques, and wrist extensions. And yeah, those are just 3 muscles I googled, and there was only the one beginning with a W. Wrist extensions. Title of your sex tape. And while his AEW career is still trying to get off the ground, it is awesome to see the man who once travelled down a WrestleMania entrance ramp on a tank is once again embodying his Bulgarian brute moniker. Lewinsky. Here's another one who didn't actually need to get any more shredded, but did it anyway just to make everyone else feel bad. Because while Cody Rhodes has always been in great shape, it's only in recent months that he's shown that what we all thought was great shape was just his second evolution, because now he's evolved into Electrodes, who I realise is not a stage 3 Pokemon, but it's the only one that works for this pun. Don't at me in the comments, I'm not a Pokedex, I don't care. So fans began to notice Cody's body transformation on social media, and he got so big that he actually had to reassure fans that he wasn't taking drugs. 14 pounds drug-free, bulking towards full gear and revolution, he tweeted in response to a fan who noted how jacked the AEW executive president was looking. Now, if you want to talk about genuinely crazy body transformations, then you have to put Ethan Page right into that conversation, because honestly, and I'm not trying to be dramatic here, but wow. Because Page spent 2020 transforming his body, and while as a wrestler it's not like he wasn't muscled before, he was definitely carrying a little bit more timber. During an excellent series of vlogs on his YouTube channel, which you should definitely check out, Page has detailed his journey, which has seen him lose amazing amounts of weight and gain an equally astonishing amount of muscle. Just between June and August, he dropped 20 pounds, which is a bit like shedding 3 newborn babies. To boot, Page is regarded as one of the top tag team wrestlers on the planet right now, as part of the North in Impact alongside Josh Alexander and brand new member Judi Dench. In some cases, it's really easy to see when a wrestler loses a lot of weight or gains a lot of muscle because they don't tend to wear shirts a lot of the time. That being said, it is important to recognise those who do wear shirts and those who have lost a lot of weight while wearing the aforementioned shirts, as part of their gimmick usually. When he joined AEW, I think it's fair to say that Dark Order's Evil Uno wasn't in the best physical shape of his life. And while he could still go in the ring like someone half his size, it seems he wanted to make some changes. Uno has for some time now been wrestling in a leather sleeveless top, and while it covers his upper body, it doesn't disguise the fact that he's lost a considerable amount of weight. Good work, Uno. While many names on this list have transformed themselves in service of wrestling, Peyton Royce took it upon herself in 2020 to prove that she could do more than just the graps. On August 15th, Royce took part in her first ever bodybuilding competition, and she detailed the day's events on her Instagram, showing off 2 trophies she won at the competition. Now take it from me, who knows nothing about bodybuilding, but bodybuilding is incredibly tough to prepare for physically, and you can see from the definition of her muscles just how much work Peyton had to put in to make sure she was in the best shape possible for her show. That is hard work and sacrifice, people. Some of the sacrifices of your soft furnishings and the inside of your car with all the fake tan in the mix, but you know, that stuff gets everywhere. I should know, it's how I get my beard so ginger. Remember what I said about Cody? Well, you can pretty much apply that entire thing to former SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, who decided that 2020 was the time to add deadlifts to every single hug she was doling out. Because Bayley often uses her social media channels to show off her various workouts where she lifts things that weigh more than me, which is very impressive considering my takeaways and lying down workout regimen this year. Now, one of the problems that people had with Bayley when she came up to the main roster was that her happy-go-lucky, sweet hugging gimmick just didn't quite fit on Raw and SmackDown, especially when compared to people who were builders, super athletes like Charlotte Flair. Well, you can say that no more because an attitude adjustment and a new workout regimen has seen Bayley in incredible shape and has cemented her as one of the most physically dominant women in the whole of WWE. Now, Kurt Angle was in good shape when he was retired by Baron Corbin at WrestleMania 35. Incredibly impressive shape considering his history of neck injuries. But because of the nature of that loss, it almost made us forget just why he was able to become so dominant in the land of the giants that is WWE in the first place. Thankfully, Kurt decided to remind us a few weeks ago that he is still one of the hardest working mother effers in the business, posting a picture of himself on his social media pages looking like one big hairless wraparound muscle. Look at him. Oh, so muscly. Just a quick reminder to everyone that Kurt is 51 years old, which means that any 50-year-olds out there who don't look like Kurt Angle, you've got a year to get into shape, or you're just not trying hard enough. Judging by that photo alone though, Kurt appears to be in some of the best shape of his life, which is pretty incredible given his past struggles. Great job, Mr. Angle. Must be all that milk. Now, interestingly, there are some who think Roman Reigns may have actually lost a bit of muscle definition in the past 12 to 18 months, but given what he's had to endure outside the ring, I think that's kind of fair enough. So if his transformation isn't strictly related to muscles, then what is it, I hear you ask? Well, just look at him. Look at him. Taking that silly vest off has made him look 12 times as physically impressive and 13 times as intimidating. This is Steiner maths at his best. Of course, it's helped that he's being booked like the world's greatest human because, let's face it, he sort of is right now. But as a character, he is so much more the Roman we always wanted and knew we could get. Also, recovering from leukemia and still looking like Roman Reigns is a miracle in itself. Great job, Roman. When I asked people for suggestions for this list, I think about 90% of people's first reaction was Pete Dunne, or alternatively, Pete June. Peter Dunne, Peter Dunne, and of course, what about that English guy in NXT? Because Pete took to Twitter in September to address some fans' concerns that he was either unwell or losing weight. He went on to explain that far from losing weight, he's actually used his time in lockdown to turn himself into a marble statue. Look at them veins. In the tweet he wrote, "I've had quite a few mentions saying I've lost weight and asking if I'm unwell, etc. I've actually used lockdown to get into the best shape of my life and I'm excited for an eventual in-ring return when travel is possible." Just look at them Pete guns. Well, it had to be Edge, didn't it? It had to be Edge. Who knew that someone who hadn't wrestled for 8 years after being forced into retirement would return at the age of 46 in the best shape of his entire career? Because my reaction was pretty much, oh wow, that's Edge, there's Edge there. And then, whoa, look at them abs, look at those abs. While 2020 hasn't exactly gone to plan for the rated ripped superstar, what with him injuring his arm at WrestleMania, there's no doubt that he put in some serious work to ensure that when he did return, it would be a return everyone will remember for a very, very long time. Now, for the benefit of those with flash photography, here are those abs again. Whoa, look at them. Edge's abs.